Freda Liu is many, many things. Freda Liu is a mother, Freda Liu is a daughter, Freda Liu is an employee of BFM, Freda Liu trains, yeah, she runs, she does many, many things.
How do people usually
Well, I guess people would know me obviously from BFM, working in BFM as a producer and a presenter. And I guess some people also know me right now. I write a couple of books as well. But yeah, people will still Freda Liu, BFM.
So what do you like most about working in BFM?
What I like most about what I do there is the fact that I'm learning every day. That it's been 9 years, 9 years there, and every day I'm still learning something, and you staying abreast of the industry, and you see when we first started, a cloud was like, what is cloud? And now of course it's, everyday language, and now the next thing is, Bitcoin, and not Bitcoin, what's that, blockchain and all that, and you just see all these things changing. That's just technology, but you see all these other businesses. I've seen the likes of Grab when it first started to what it is today. It's a very vibrant industry, and I'm able to see so many things happening in so many areas. I love business and the people behind business.
So is that your background, business? What were you doing before you?
Oh, okay. So my background, not so much. I used to work in IBM, in communications, and before that also with the consultancy. But of course, part-time I was a TV newsreader and a radio newsreader. So joining BFM was a combination of having been in corporate, having done broadcasting, and this was just the right mix of what I'd be interested in, and great music on BFM.
So how did you get into writing then?
How did I get into writing? I guess if I were to say anything, I was thinking what it was. Maybe I enjoy communicating. So the reason I wrote the first book was actually because of work. I realized that I've been on radio, I've been on TV, I've been in PR, and now I've been on the journalist side of things, right? In terms, I was like, wow, I've done the gamut, right? And then I've interviewed so many people, and a lot of these people, a lot of these business people, they come on, they have a great story one time, and I don't hear from them again, right? And I'll hear from, maybe I meet them casually 2 or 3 years later, and they tell me, wow, I've done so many things. So why didn't you come to me and tell me what is the progress? People like to hear these stories. So one, sometimes they don't know how being heard constantly, which is the power of PR, is important, or two, they don't want to, because sometimes also some businesses say, oh, I don't want people to know my trade secret, although there are no trade secrets anymore. You can find out everything online. But so I wanted to talk about the effectiveness and the power of public relations, if done right, if done with a plan. And that was what led me to my first book.
Right. So tell us more about your recent book.
My recent book is called Bursting Fixed Mindsets, because I did a play on BFM there. But one of the things I'm also very interested in is female empowerment, right? The whole idea of women in business. And I think business is a great way for women to be empowered. And so what was and I meet a lot of these amazing women. But what's really startling was this year, the Department of Statistics came out with the results of only 20.3% of total businesses owned in Malaysia are owned by women. So 80% are not. Again, I did a little bit more research, and then according to National Association of Women Entrepreneurs Malaysia, only 10% of their members are contributing to GST, which means revenues of 500,000 and above, which means the other businesses are 500,000 and below. So what kind of, and it makes me wonder, wait, what are we not doing right? Or why can't the numbers be more? So instead of quoting these figures, right, and lamenting about these figures, let's learn from women who have, made that leap and learn from them.
So what are some of the interesting things that you learned from these 15 women you interviewed?
Wow, okay. What was interesting to me, one of them was actually Christy Ng, right? And she said diversity. And when we say diversity, we always hear about how women should be employed. And she's got a very interesting story, because she thought, hey, I'm selling shoes. So she only hired women. But the moment she hired men, they gave a completely different perspective to running a business. They were more willing to do the hard stuff, right? And they were more willing to take risks when she would be second guessing herself. So it just goes to show the importance of diversity, that you need both, right? And that was just a very different twist of diversity. We always say, yes, we need to hire more women, but see what happens when we're too much in one direction as well. So that was one eureka moment for me.
So how do you balance your life
Oh.
when you have so many things to do?
There is, well, really there is a formula, and you can have everything you want in life, just not at the same time. You know, here is the reality, and there's going to be different priorities. I follow this thing called the Wheel of Life, where I look at everything from faith, fitness, family, friendship, lifestyle, mental growth, finance, and one more I always forget. But what happens is that I always make sure spiritually how much time I spend. And family for me as well. I've got a 15-year-old boy. You can't be with him all the time, right? And so when I am with him and I dedicate that time with him, which is two days in the week where it's just me and him, I'm totally with him. And when I'm at work, I'm totally at work. So that I don't feel guilty when I'm at work thinking I haven't spent time with him, right? So it's a matter of priority, but every morning I work out, and that's fitness, right? So these are the things that you can do, but something has to give, right? Something has to give. For example, deciding on a job in Kuala Lumpur City when you have to go through traffic, it may pay you 3 times more, but at what sacrifice if you're spending all that time in traffic, right? So you do have to prioritize and then work around the wheel of life.
So you meet a lot of inspiring entrepreneurs, right? So how do you stop yourself from doing too many things?
Oh, how do I stop myself from doing so many things?
'Cause-
Serial entrepreneurs, you mean? A little simple test. And I realized that my tagline was impacting lives. And when my tagline, and it's different for different people. So when I do certain things, the bigger question is what I'm doing impacting lives? If it's not impacting lives and true to who I am, don't do it. Right? Don't do it. There are many opportunities I come across as well, but if it's not going to come back to what my core value is, don't do it. You know, but we're tempted, we're humans, and then sometimes like, oh, take a break and just sort of learn to stop and reflect, which we also don't do enough. We just do. Sometimes we just have to stop and reflect about where your life is going.
So recently there's been a lot of talk about harassment, like sexual harassment against women entrepreneurs and all in the scene, right? The local startup scene. So what's your take on it?
Well, okay, it started, I think, definitely in the business scene, and maybe media, as in Hollywood, made it a bigger deal, which I have to thank them for them. It is a very real issue, and if I look back to every woman that I've spoken to, someone or one way or another has been sexually harassed, right? Whether it's through conversation, whether it's through an inappropriate touch. It is very sad, but at the same time, I'm glad we're now able to speak up about things, and hopefully, HR, has been bringing these up things in most organizations, but that we have a lot more clarity towards this. But it is scary. But I think right now, if there's more people speaking up, then it's definitely a step in the right direction.
What do you think about the harassment on social media? Because it seems like it's much more easier to harass people over social media now, right? So do you experience that personally, or how do you deal with it?
No, I don't, right? If I get a couple of people that I don't like harassing me on social media, I just block them. Be very clear why you want to do anything. I really admire, be very clear why you want to go into business, right? And get back to the higher purpose. Like even when I get back to my work, and if I ever start a business, does it impact lives? That's going to be an important consideration. And is it to your core strengths as well? So some people are just talented in a certain way, but also understand that maybe that's not the way. I really admire Hui Matthews from Ashby Nimble. She came out very boldly about reasons that she did not succeed in this business, but I don't think that's the last we're going to hear from her. And sometimes you have to take the step back as well. So do take risks, right? Do take risks. Understand that there are going to be sacrifices, but that's going to be just like anybody else. If there is a better way of handling if you're going to have children, the raising a family where it's equal, that both partners are equal in raising the child, then that's all the better. I think the issue is that women will always be worried about starting a business or going to work when the onus of raising a family is still on a woman, when we are still at that level. Because I look at examples of Sweden and Finland and all that, where parenting, maternal leave, paternity leave are equal. The message from the government, the message is that raising a family is the equal responsibility of both parents. So in this country where we have long maternity leave and barely any paternal leave, the message is still raising the child, the responsibility of a woman. So until we change that structurally, you know, you find a support structure. I think that's really important, the support structure. And we're in Asia. Thank God for mothers and mothers-in-law, you know, and other help. Let's make the most of that.
What's your overview on our business ecosystem now? The
Okay.
ecosystem in Malaysia?
I think it's really exciting in Malaysia. I think there's a lot of money, right? There's a lot of money, and for great ideas. But at the same time, there's a lot of opportunities for startups and all that. There are all these hackathons where we get to network and all that. But also, don't be too blinded with this startup thing. I find that we should be at that point where, and also not expecting funding all the time, right? You've got to be able to learn to bootstrap a little bit. Of course, when you get to that certain stage, right, where you've got your MVP or, you know, at least showing some money, then probably at that stage is the right time to look for investors. But I think as an entrepreneur, you've got to put in some hard work first, find out what it's like to get funding on your own and save or whatever. Until you get to a certain stage, then you've got a little bit more clout. You've tested yourself. Whether you've got the perseverance to continue, then that's the next way to take stage. But I think there is money. But money alone isn't the reason to continue in business. The women that I featured in my book, none of them talk about money. It wasn't money the reason that made them grow the business. Of course, it helps, but it wasn't the only criteria.
All right. So, anything you'd like to say before we end the interview? Any advice for the up-and-coming entrepreneurs?
Any advice?
Not just women entrepreneurs.
And I think keep on learning. Right? Keep on learning. Always be ready that your industry might be disrupted. We hate that word, but that's it, right? Always be disrupted. Always have moving on to the next vision. And if you don't know what the next vision is, find a mentor. Stand on the shoulder of a mentor so that you can get a bigger vision of where your business can go to. So always be moving. You can never be stagnant, right? I think that's the idea. If you got the staying power to keep growing, maybe needing to pivot or what have you, just keep on moving.